What's up, guys? Welcome to another Reason 9.5 tutorial. Today we will be covering sampling. Sampling. Going over how not the best way to sample or the only way to sample, but sort of my way of sampling, or how I use the Dr. Octo Rex loop player to sample. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on today. We'll be focusing on how to get that sort of MPC chopped up sort of feel. Because looping sections, obviously if you have a loop, you can just loop it in the sequencer. You don't really need a device in the rack for that. But yeah. So for now, we're going to work with a drum loop. And we're going to work with a instrument loop, a piano loop. We're going to make them work together, but what we're going to do is we're going to chop them up and sort of play them. So I'm going to start with the drum loop because that seems to be like an easier thing for people to do. So Dr. Octo Rex loop player, what does it do? It plays Rex files. If you don't know what Rex files are, I'll put out another video on that. Basically, it's just a type of audio file that just has more data. There's some products out there like Recycle from Propellerhead and some other things that create Rex files. But today we'll just be making our own. So in the sequencer. So what you do is, first of all, this is way too long, so I'm going to cut this down a lot. We're going to zoom back in. And basically, we just need like 4 bars of this drum loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of listen and cut it down to where we want until we have a loop that we could just loop in the sequencer, but we're going to cut it up and do something with it. Okay, so here we go. Let's listen to this. The first kick is right there. So let's turn snap off, zoom in, and let's listen for it. It's right there. So we're going to take our slice tool over here, or you can hit R. We're going to slice right at the zero crossing, which basically means, see how the waveform goes up and down. Basically when it crosses over the middle, that's where we want to cut it, so there's no clicking or popping. Okay, so we're going to delete the beginning. We're going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to slide this over, and now we have okay, but we don't need that much. We're just going to use the first part. Yeah, and we'll cut it right there. Let's zoom in. Let's R for the razor tool and cut it right there. Okay, perfect. So now we can delete the second half. So now what we have is a loop that should loop perfectly. But to test that, we're going to hit Option. With snap back on, we're going to hit Option. We're going to drag it out to 2 bars. Okay, let's listen. Yeah, it's perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to double click, and all these markers come up. So now basically these are going to be your slice points. What Reason does is it automatically detects the transients, or the loud parts of the audio, like right when something hits. But what we want is we want to make sure it's only hitting on certain hits. So that's a hi-hat. What's this? Wait, no. Come back. Yeah, so we don't need this one. We don't need this one because basically we just want, actually I'm going to take this one out too. We just want the loud parts where something's actually like happening. Perfect. So now what we do is we right click while this is still open, because if you'll notice, here I'll show you what we're going to do. We bounce to a new Rex loop. But you'll notice, even if we did all this and it's edited and everything, and we exit slice edit mode, and we go right click, bounce, it won't let you bounce to Rex loop. I don't know why, they need to fix that, but we're just going to double click, right click, bounce clip to new Rex loop. Boom. Now we have the heist, this drum Rex loop thing, and we can drag it atop our Dr. Octo Rex. So basically, we're going to turn on select slice by MIDI. That's important. Otherwise, you're not going to know what slices you're playing. I'm going to bring up my on-screen computer keyboard, drag it up to the top over here. And let's find where our slices are. I don't know. Oh, I have the heist still selected. My bad. So let's go to our Dr. Octo Rex. Let's go up an octave. And at C1, you'll notice over here, it highlights which selection we're playing. Okay, so basically what we want to do is we want to turn the release all the way up. So all you do is, if you just tap a note, it plays out the whole thing. And then what we want is we want to turn it to mono. So we're going to turn the polyphony down to 1. So now, even if we spam keys, it's only going to play one thing at a time, which is nice, so we don't get like overlapping things. I'm going to turn the velocity up. So now what we can do is a couple of interesting things. Basically, the first thing we can do is we can just play it out in the sequencer. We can mute our original, and we can just, record something, and we can go to here. I'm going to turn the BPM to 130. We can hit click and pre, pull back up our keys, and we can just record something. Oh, whoops. I need to turn loop playback off. So make sure you turn this enable loop playback off, because we're going to be playing in our slices ourselves, so we don't need that. So let me open up the keys again, record one more time. And that's terrible, so we're going to quantize that to 1/8 note. But now, you'll notice we have... So we have just a stupid little drum loop that was terrible. But basically, you get the point. You can chop it up. You can play it. Now let's go into some of the advanced features that I like about the Dr. Octo Rex. Now there's this thing called alternatives, which is really, really cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to select on our kick. We're going to go alternative. And we're going to set to alternative group 1. We're going to find the next kick, which is this one. We're going to turn it to alternative group 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our next kick, H, and turn it to alternative group 1. And we're going to keep doing this. Alternative, where am I? Alternative group 1. And this last one is the last one that we'll take, alternative group 1. Now you'll notice that when we play the loop, run, oh yeah, enable loop playback. It's using the different slices. So that's if you wanted to use it as a loop. You can make it so that it alternates. So basically getting different hit types on the drum. So basically, if you don't want it to be the same, like the same hit every time, you can do that. And then here's what I'm trying to say. If you just chop it up and then you play W and S over and over again, it's going to sound really repetitive because it's the exact same hit. If you loop it but you have alternatives, it's going to play different versions of the kick every time. Does that make sense? I think it does. Okay. So, continuing on, we're going to go to some other functions that are really cool about this. So you can pitch up or pitch down individual samples. Whoops. That's really low. Let's go -2. Perfect. You can pan individual samples. We're going to reset that by hitting Command and clicking. You can set the level. We can make this nothing. Or we can make this back to super loud. The decay, turn that down. Turn it up. These are just all the things. You can even reverse. Now if we go to loop playback, you'll notice. It has like a cool little reverse effect in it. But we don't want that for now at least. So I'm going to turn reverse off. And then basically some different frequencies, output options, blah blah blah. Then you have all the typical Dr. Octo Rex functions. You can even drop, this is the cool part, you can have multiple chopped up samples in the one Dr. Octo Rex player. That's what I think is cool. And then you can go in between them and play different chops from different things. It gets really complex, but really cool. So, now that I've showed you how to chop it up and how to play it, we're going to go to the instrument sample. Now, let's just say you wanted to just loop something. You could just hit Command D, zoom out a little bit, Command D, and solo this, mute this. And then just have it play out. And yeah, that's like the easy way of sampling, but we're going over how to use the Dr. Octo Rex. I just wanted to show you guys that just in case that's what you wanted to do. So, next thing, we want to chop up this instrumental sample. And I'm going to reset the Dr. Octo Rex device because I'm just going to loop the drums in the background. But we are going to make a Rex loop out of this and drop it in, and then play the piano piece. So what I want to do is R for the razor tool, cut somewhere over here, I don't know. We'll go back to this tool, the selection tool, and stop. And then let's just listen. Oh, I have to probably solo it. Oh, the reason I'm not getting any copyright flags for this, by the way, is because these are... check out my other video on how to sample on YouTube without getting a copyright flag. That's a really interesting video that I put out. But we're going to do this. And we don't want the drums part, so we're going to cut it right there. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. So now what we need to do is we need to chop this up. And it doesn't really matter, I'm going to turn snap off and just bring this to the beginning. It doesn't really matter if, it doesn't really matter if this is a perfect loop because we're going to cut it anyway. So I'm going to take this and bring it back to here. Actually, I'm going to turn snap off and just put it to like here. Okay, turn snap back on. Oh, sorry, my phone's buzzing. Okay, here we go. So now we have this loop. Great. So now what we want to do is we want to right click. So we go into here. We're going to get the pencil tool. Oh, wait, no, there's already going to be a slice at the beginning because that's how it works. Yeah, so there's a slice at the beginning. Actually, we're just going to draw one in just in case. Actually, Command C. Let's go right on snap to bar and go right on the beginning. Okay. Okay, snap back to 116. Okay, so here's what we have so far. I don't want this one right here, so I'm going to delete that. Perfect, and we're going to delete this one at the end because we don't need it. Now what we're going to do is right click, bounce, bounce to new, Rex loop. Now you'll notice we have on our side, over here, with all our different individual slices in it. I'm going to stop that. We're going to drag this into the Dr. Octo Rex loop player. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn select by MIDI on. And now what we can do is mess around a little bit. I'm going to global transpose it up too, just to, I don't know, get some variety. I'm just kind of showing you the different things that you can do. I would have to be selected on the Dr. Octo Rex again, as I forgot to do. But we're going to solo that. And we're going to turn the release all the way up again so that when we hit something, it just plays out. So now what we're going to do, and we're going to turn the polyphony down to 1 again. Sorry, I forgot to do that. And now pitch bend range only down to 2 because we're not actually going to use that, but basically if you have a pitch wheel and you want to go in between, like, and go wow wow and like pitch up notes and stuff with your pitch wheel, you don't want it on 7. 7 is so much. You just want it on like 2 semitones. Semitones are how many keys up on the piano. So this would be 1 semitone to W would be 1 semitone. Yeah. So anyway, or a half step, people call it different things. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out we're going to turn the velocity down on that specific hit because it's way too loud. So let's go to level, turn it down a lot to like 65. Turn the level of this one up to like 110. Okay, so now what we can do is we can play it like it's, I'm going to transpose it up 1 more octave, but we can play it like it's a MPC type sample sort of thing. So let's go to here, let's record in, I'm going to solo the drums too so we can like have a beat to what we're playing. And I'm just going to record and we're going to see what we can come up with. Oh, I have the enable loop playback on. That's not what I wanted, as you guys know from the past thing that I just did. So what we're going to do is we're going to record, shift, return a couple of times to get it back to the beginning. That's good enough. Quantize it. And let's see what we got so far. If we hit command, click over here, and loop it. Actually, let's go to 4 bars and loop it. Shift backwards. Shift enter a couple times. So a really terrible beat we got going there. But the point is, you can use this Dr. Octo Rex. You don't need to use the NN19 or the NNXT, which are made to be samplers. And you can get this sort of cool, all these cool things. You can have multiple samples in the same Dr. Octo Rex, and you can switch between them. And you have all these effects, mod wheel stuff. Make sure, the key things to do: select slice by MIDI, enable loop playback is off, and run is off. And basically what you do is you just turn your pitch range down to 2, your polyphony down to 1, and your release all the way up. And then what you have is this really cool MPC style sampling. And yeah, so that was a really convoluted way of explaining it. I hope you guys got something out of it. With that, I'm going to leave you guys. Peace out, and hope you enjoyed. And if you want to see more sampling videos with more traditional ways of sampling in Reason, then hit me up in the comment sections below, or leave a like, please. That's what keeps me motivated, man. Every time I see that subscriber count go up by like one number from like 106 to 107 or 109 to 110, it just puts a joy in my heart. So I hope you guys do that. I'm not forcing anyone to subscribe, obviously, because I can't, but it would really help motivate me. And a lot more content's coming to the channel soon. Logic Pro X tutorials, more Reason tutorials, beat making tutorials, beats in general. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Peace.